Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another upgrades video. In today's upgrades video, we are once again taking a look at my SIG 516. And before we get this video started, there are no sponsors. So if you want to help support my channel, all you got to do, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, maybe even share the video around. You can try the subscribe button. It might do something, it might not. What you will get on this channel are straight up 2014 style gear and gun reviews. That is what this channel's about, and I will never change that. So enjoy it or not. This will never be the drama channel here on YouTube, which I hope you guys do appreciate. We are taking a look once again at my 516, although in reality this is just a 516 complete factory upper, and the lower is just a standard arrow lower. But since the last time that the 516 was on the channel, I have since obviously made some upgrades to it. This is primarily the setup that I choose to go with for my night vision role. This exact accessory loadout, if you will, I have had on a lot of different guns. And I have not bought like mirrored images of these accessories. These are all the same accessories that I continually keep shifting all over the freaking place until I finally threw them on my 516. I originally had them on what I would consider almost a perfect rifle. It was my 13.7 setup that was specifically from the ground up set up for night vision. The only thing that killed it for me was the tri-arc barrel, and that was just not great. And I ended up getting rid of that upper entirely, which was a little bit of a bummer because, again, it set all the night vision stuff so perfectly on that 13.7 barrel with the 12-inch rail. It was just a very well-balanced setup. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to night vision. You are looking at laser aiming modules, lights, illuminators, usually a suppressor just because it helps cut down on flash signature underneath night vision. You're going to have an optic, and usually you're going to have a riser just to make that a little bit easier to look through under night vision. I originally never even thought about using the 516 for this type of purpose, and I figured I'd just give it a shot. And the only reason why I thought, I'd never use it for that is because you're working with a carbine length rail system. This is a 10.5-inch gun, so again, you're not working with a ton of room here for rail space to mount all of this stuff on. Once I threw it on here, I was actually pleasantly surprised. It does do a pretty good job. Now, the only thing that I'm a little concerned with is I have my laser aiming module bridged here on the gas block rail and the handguard rail. That's a bit of a no-no, and I know a lot of you guys are probably screaming down in the comment section, but so far it has held zero just fine. I'm not too terribly concerned about it so far. But moving down the accessories, we can start with the laser here. This is a Holosun 321G. I have had great luck with this Holosun laser. It kind of does everything I need it to do. This is going to give you a visible, in this case, green laser in low and high, and an infrared laser, again, low and high, and also an infrared illuminator. So it's not going to have a white light, but it will have the illuminator built in, and that is going to be capable of accepting any standard Surefire type plugs in the back, and it works out pretty well in that department. To the right of it, I am running my Surefire Scout. That's a Vampire 600, and it has the capability of running a white light or an illuminator, and the illuminator out of this thing is wildly good under night vision. You could get away with just having a Holosun illuminator for probably about 99% of the time, but trying to be Mr. Cool Guy, I also threw on the Surefire, and it is a little bit nice to be able to punch out with night vision, but let's be honest, I barely use my night vision to begin with, so it's a bit of an overkill, but that's okay. I'm running Midwest Industries flip up irons. This is a great iron set, and I run on my night vision setups my front sight reversed. And this is a little trick that I heard from a very good buddy of mine who has been there and done that. And he had kind of informed me, he's like, hey man, you're not losing any function, but what you're able to do is get your laser aiming module as high up as possible on the rail without losing the backup irons, which I would always prefer to have. So that's how I'm running it here. What I love about the SIG 516 is I can still get to my gas adjustment underneath that front sight without issue, which is really cool. On a lot of piston guns that I've thrown all this stuff on, the problem is you're kind of taking up all the real estate around your adjustment area, and that's just kind of a no-go. So on the SIG here, I can get to that without issue, and even with the front sight down, I can kind of reach under there and mess with that area. So that works out really good, and I just love the Midwest combat irons. They are incredible. Running an old school, very tired, needs to be retired, a Silencer Co. Omega 300. This can is the equivalent of the what are they selling lady from SpongeBob, and that it's crying to me every time I shoot it. It's getting a little like crispy when you pinch it too hard. So yeah, I got a lot of rounds through that can, but it's still holding up great. This is a surprisingly quiet setup to run suppress. So again, it kind of aids to the night vision department pretty good. I do have on a Samson vert grip underneath here. These little grenade vert grips are pretty sweet. Don't mind that at all. This would not be my preference of goon tape color. This was just what I had lying around. It's their like coyote, but as you can tell, it's obviously a bit too bright for me. But I got a hodgepodge of colors going on here, so I'm really not that terribly worried about it. But a lot of you guys might ask, that is goon tape. Regular hockey tape is going to be about the same thing, but goon tape is a pretty cool company. So I also have a Surefire dual pad here, and this dual pad works out great. A lot of the time these days I've been running just regular tail caps, just thumb push tail caps, but in the case of night vision, you really want to have a pad to just get to, because in the dark, when you can't really feel your lights, especially getting up there to the laser, it can be a little bit tough. So having a pressure pad is nice. And unlike a lot of other pressure pads that I've had, I've never had connection issues with this Surefire pad so far, which is good. I am running an EOTech EXPS 3-0 on top. This is the quick detach EOTech version. I really like having the quick detach on here because even though I have a Unity riser underneath that the EOTech is sitting on, if I quickly detach my EOTech, if this goes down for whatever reason, I can still use my backup irons. So that is why I have backup irons on this setup. A lot of folks might be looking at this, they're like, well, obviously you're not even able to see your irons, so what's the point? If you have a quick detach optic, you can absolutely still utilize those irons. Maybe not even in a crazy SHTF situation, but hey, you're at the range, you want to run the gun, and your optic dies, and you don't have any batteries, you're able to at least still run the gun, pop it off, and you got your irons, and you're pretty much good to go. So that is really kind of a nice thing to have with the detachable EOTech. And for a night vision roll, EOTechs just reign supreme. It's almost like no contest. That's just kind of how I feel about it. But we also, I'm almost positive I have like an entire video on this rail. If not, it's included already in the first impressions video I did of the 516. But this is the Midwest Industries 516 rail. This is what they make specifically for this rifle because it is a proprietary setup from SIG. And Midwest rail actually rides over the gas block like the more modern rails do for 516s. And I like the fact that this gas block is covered. Not only does it give you an extra M-LOK slot on the left and right hand side, but the gas block on these older 516s is just super funky looking, and all the rails like end prematurely behind it, and it just doesn't look right. So I love the fact that Midwest covers that. That's just awesome. And it gives you a QD slot also on either side of the rail, which I am running my sling on the left side. The only thing it does not cover is the bayonet lug on the bottom. So if you ever wanted to try to sneak a bayonet on a little 10.5 barrel, Midwest has your back. And in full disclosure, they did send me that rail to check out here on the channel. Moving back further, we have a Troy pistol grip. Not going to talk too much about that. It's a great pistol grip, but I am not a fan of Troy as a company, so I'm going to leave it at that. B5 standard SOP mod stock in the rear. This is probably these days my preference of stock. It's just seems to be the most comfortable without a doubt. It's just absolutely excellent. So I love the B5 stocks. There's really not too much out there that I would consider to be better than this stock. It's just excellent. And to finish it up, I have the standard 516 charging handle. This is, again, a much older 516 upper. This is one of the old school LE uppers that are very hard to find these days. So I just left that as it is. But the 516's been running great at the range. I absolutely love this upper, and it kind of reminded me how much I loved it once I put all the night vision stuff on there and these new upgrades. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to be using this rifle a hell of a lot more. So I love everything about it. It's been a great upper for me, and I can't get enough of it. So that is going to wrap up these upgrades that I've done to the 516. If you guys have any other questions about this rifle or anything else on the channel, please throw them down below in the comment section, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description, check out those links to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.